like to thank all of you for attending this morning. We are having a press conference this morning really to do a number of things. We really want to show you or talk to you a little bit about, first we want to introduce the officers of the new, this year's Reynosa Index. Reynosa Index is the organization that of all the Maquiladoras in Reynosa, and MEDC and Index has had a partnership for the last 28 years. We've worked together to help develop both McAllen and Reynosa, and so we have a long-standing relationship between the two organizations. When we started, it was called the Reynosa Maquila Managers Association, and then a few years back it changed to REMAC, which is the Reynosa Association, and then just I guess a couple of years ago it changed to the Reynosa Index. And Reynosa Index really helps the local organizations, and there's Maquila associations or index chapters all over the nation. But it helped identify the whole organization at the national level by bringing Reynosa is Reynosa Index, Matamoros is Matamoros Index, and so Index is now the mantra for the national association, and then each city has its own chapter with their name, and so it's now Reynosa Index. So last year we had a press release to also introduce the new officers of the association, as well as to give an update on the tax law changes that occurred last year, the previous year, and just to let people know what the association was seeing with the tax law changes, the impacts that it might have on the association and on our industrial sector here. This year, what we are going to do is once the announcement's made for the officers of the association, is we're going to do kind of an update on where we see 2015, both from a standpoint of MEDC on the U.S. side, what we see happening, and also then on Mexico side with what we see as far as activity and what we see for industrial development. Then Alex Avila, who is the new president of the association, will be talking a little bit about the work program for, well, after Martha introduces him. Martha is the executive director of the Reynosa Index, and she will introduce Alex to us, and then he will talk a little bit about the 2015 work program and what they see for Reynosa coming in 2015. So without further ado, what I'd like to do now is introduce Ralph Garcia. Ralph is the Executive Vice President for MEDC. He is in charge of Mexico recruitment, and he's going to give us an update on what we see for Reynosa for 2015. Thank you for attending.
Good morning. First, I'd like to thank the folks from the press that are here this morning, giving us the opportunity to get some good information out and get things going for this year. Just wanted to give you a brief update. As Keith mentioned, my responsibility is the Mexico side, and so I'm actively in Reynosa working with my counterparts with economic development from the city of Reynosa and also the state government of Tamaulipas to attract investment to the region and to the area. You know, at the end of 2014, we started to see a pickup primarily in automotive. The announcement of Kia Motors establishing an operation in the city of Pesqueria in the state of Nuevo León, it became very clear that a lot of suppliers were starting to follow that model. And so we had the opportunity towards the end of last year to see a large number of visitors from Korea that were looking at establishing a presence either in the McAllen area or in Reynosa. With that, we also had several Japanese companies that were visiting. So last year, in the month of November, we actually took a trip to Japan and to Korea to visit with some of these companies that are looking at establishing a presence. Part of the culture, of course, is not them just coming to visit, but also us showing an interest in their business being in our community. And one of the primary things that's important to the City of McAllen and the Commission and the Mayor has always been to attract industrial development. Whether that development comes into McAllen or into Reynosa, there is a cause and effect for a lot of the opportunities that we see developing on this side of the border. And so it's very critical that we continue to do that promotion. Safety and security has been something that a lot of people have been tracking. We have seen a lot of improvements on the Mexico side. The government continues to enforce military police, federal police, and state police actively into the association, to the parks. And they are working closely with the association to identify any areas of concern or issues that may be important. And that for us is critical, because part of our continued success is that companies feel comfortable in doing business. Last year, we saw some good numbers in growth. A lot of our existing companies continue to expand. Right now we have a lot of job creation taking place. So if you drive through Reynosa today in the industrial sectors, there are a lot of companies that are actually doing recruitment right now. So we're seeing good numbers in growth, primarily in the automotive sector. In 2015, we're seeing a lot of good opportunities coming about. Almost every week now we have visits from companies that are coming from different parts of the world, different parts of the U.S., that are looking at growing or expanding their business. Today we actually have a company visiting. This evening we have a company arriving that'll be here till Thursday of this week. So those are the type of things that are playing out right now. The visits are important because it gives us an opportunity to show them what we have in the community to offer. And when I say community, it's McAllen and Reynosa. We look at it as one community that's separated by a river. So it's something that we'll continue to work on. With that, I'd just like to take a second to introduce Martha Ramos. Martha is the director for INDEX Reynosa. She has worked with the organization for many years now, and is really the point of direction for the organization in Reynosa.
To the Maquila for the support permanently. Also, the INDEX Reynosa now name, with more of 100 companies, with more of 100 people, 1,000 people in Reynosa, with more of 4 years in Reynosa, that it not use the community on the economy for McAllen and Reynosa is more than this. You can see on this video.
Something is happening in Reynosa. It is something special and positive. Unprecedented. Something that moves into action and challenges us to overcome our own goals. Leaders with deep commitment to the community are looking for the best for Reynosa, leaving aside individual positions, favoring the common good and prosperity of this city that has been built from diversity. The time is now. INDEX Reynosa. We represent the sector that is the engine of local economic development. Leader in the state of Tamaulipas with 150 manufacturing plants from 11 different sectors, including electronic, automotive, metal mechanics, and medical. Bringing quality of life with over 92,000 permanent jobs and 368,000 indirect employees. The local labor for manufacturing or engineering is characterized by being highly qualified and compared with the best in the world. We are leaders in the local economy, and we truly believe more can be accomplished by uniting our efforts to build a successful community. Reynosa is strategically located on the U.S.-Mexico border, minutes from the international crossing with Texas. Our exports are over $7 billion per year. Our privileged site and experience gives us the advantage to secure our international commerce and seek new opportunities. We want to be an agent of change, not only in the companies we represent, by leading our local society and our entire environment, because we believe that productive individuals will become positive citizens. It's time to take the role in which history has placed us. It's time to give our best to our families, to our companies, to our city. It's time to do the best for Reynosa. INDEX. INDEX Reynosa.
Keith and Ralph, okay, good friends, okay, 14 years, correct? Almost 15 years, okay, so we've been seeing the economy growing into this city, okay, and both cities, okay, so it's, we always say, me and Keith and Ralph, okay, is one city. It's one city, McAllen and Reynosa. As you saw in the video, okay, we represent 98,000 people. That's direct people. And if I add the people that we have in the side of McAllen, I'm thinking 200,000 people. That's multiplied by 4, you're looking about 400,000 people. And you multiply by the indirect people, we're looking almost 1 million people that actually is supported by this industry. 1 million people that is supported by this industry, the economy is supported by this industry. What we have seen this year and last year is basically a growth, like they mentioned, okay, a growth in basically regionalization on the world, okay. Before it was global, we thought about everything global, but now it's region, okay. So we will see, we had seen, okay, what are we saying, a change, okay, a change. And with that, okay, we start changing ourselves too in INDEX. So one of the things that you saw, I don't know if you saw in the video, okay, we say this is the best for Reynosa. So what we're going to show you, okay, right now is basically our vision and our strategies. Okay, that we have, the plan that we have. Okay. Yes, sir. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. There you go. Okay, next. So where's our vision, okay? Is reposition INDEX in the society. And I know there's going to be a lot of questions about security, about border, and we will answer those questions for you guys, okay? Because one of the things that if you see right here is we have some strategies, okay? And our mission is service the industry to the membership with active participation. Last year, I'm going to be honest with you guys, okay, I was not that active, okay? I was not that active, and I was part of the problem instead of part of the solution. Basically, last year I started saying, you know what, I can whine all that I can, okay, or actually start being part of the solution. So that's why I became more active into the community and to both communities, okay. So last year, basically, I started as vice president, and this year I took on the place to be the president. Why? Because we want to be more active in the community, more active with that. We represent more than 98,000 people. So every time that I talk to you, you're not talking to somebody, okay? You're talking to 98,000 people. So I want to make sure I represent that, okay? So takes time for us, okay? But we can continue to working. Our mission, our strategies, is create an international trade safety. That means bridges, security, anything that will allow us to grow. Because the McAllen and Reynosa is going to keep growing. I know that, okay? We know that. We see it. The avalanche is coming, okay? And we need to keep going and working with that, okay? And we were working to get more in, basically, in CityPad, next certification, and get more into the memberships, okay? Our social responsibility, one of the things that we created this year, okay, with the help of Mike and Marta, we are creating basically a foundation, okay? As you know, okay, we are not just a place to work. Also, we are also bringing more into the community. We've been donating a lot of money into the community, and also bringing the values, okay, the values that actually this society needs. So we are creating this year basically a foundation. This foundation will stay after me. It will stay and keep continue. Okay, this foundation will keep growing. One of the things that we're looking also is bringing human capital development, and that's working with the McAllen, with the University of Texas, with STCC, working together. Okay? We need to start working as a one, basically a one city, not just different cities, one city. Okay, because we have the knowledge and we have the strength if we do it all together. So that's where to start working. I already got some calls with the University of Texas, talking to Keith, and keep growing that relationship to make basically get the human development. As Keith mentioned, okay, some of the factors, Kia announced that this is coming to Monterrey. Okay, so how do we bring more into this table? How do we actually create this safety that allows us to bring engineers into Reynosa and engineers back into McAllen and so on, so on, and so on, okay? We want to really create a free trade. We are ready. This is our time. We really believe it's our time to start doing this, okay? Maybe 2-3 years was not okay, but this is our time to start going that way. Some of the strain of values, okay? And that goes into how much on the people. It's about people. You know, we can have the best machines in the world, but we don't have the values in our people. Doesn't really matter, okay? So our biggest asset in all our industries is the people. Each one of us, okay, it needs to has those values. Those values that sometimes we forget about, okay? And we need to make sure we, keep investing in that. On the physical improvements, we're working with already, okay, with the federal government to get, ahead on these regulations, okay? Before, we were behind. Now we're ahead with them, okay? We've been working with the SAT. I was just in a meeting last week with the Secretario, Aristoteles, and he was in front of us, okay? We're talking about basically your issues ahead, okay? So all this plan, we started to deploy since last year. You guys seen it, this is maybe the first time here, some of you guys, okay? But this was deployed last year with the help of some of my board members, okay? And the help of Marta. So we are keep deploying this plan for the next level. So basically that's our plan for 2015, okay? And it's one of the things, okay, that we want to work, okay, this year is keep working together with the McAllen development and seeing that. One of the things I want to show you, okay, is what do you see the trend, okay? And the blue line represent the plants and actually the employment, okay, that we saw on last year. As you can see, the trend is on the high, and it's going to continue going to the high, what we can see in 2015. We are in the right moment. Yeah, everybody remember 2009, okay? Well, that's when the economy went side on us, okay? But we can see a total recovery in the economy. We are representing, okay? We are representing the best value as a region, as a McAllen and Reynosa. Next. This is the factories that we see also an increase. We saw an increase in 2013. 2014 also we saw a tremendous increase in 2014. And what we can see for 2015, we see an increase in the plants coming in. More sectors are coming in this way. You guys hear about SpaceX. That's going to be more basically jobs into the valley, more jobs into the Reynosa side, okay? We actually, Kia, this passion of Kia, particularly in my case, okay, we're bringing several customers like GE Lighting. GE Lighting is coming back into the United States, okay? So it's coming back into this region. We see a lot of people coming in from Asia coming this way, okay? Why? Because the regionalization, okay? Back in the 80s, okay, we saw the maquilas coming into this area. On the 90s, the boom of the maquilas get in. On the 95, around that, China came in, and they came with a lower, basically their costs came down, okay, and Mexico stayed stable. So the best labor at that moment, it was going to China. But what we can see right now, China cost is going up, and the companies are coming back. The regionalization is coming into our side, okay? So that's, it's benefit us both, okay? We're gonna do one, we had a video from Reynosa, okay, that we wanna show it to you guys.
Jamás lo hubiese imaginado. Al llegar a este lugar me di cuenta que es tan diferente a lo que dicen. Todo es nuevo. El sol, el atardecer, sus texturas. La vida aquí va rápido, pero siempre te puedes detener en el tiempo y disfrutar de sus nubes, sus cielos y su gente. Vine a hacer grandes negocios, pero hice más grandes amigos. Es tan fascinante estar aquí. Puedes caminar y darte cuenta que existe un calor especial en sus calles y los que caminan en ellas. Jamás imaginé que encontraría un zoológico tan mágico, con enormes búfalos, avestruces, hermosos lagos y un hermoso bebé tigre que no para de jugar. Una ciudad que ofrece el sabor de un buen vino, de platillos exóticos, con el sabor de México en un buen cabrito. El futuro lo ves en su tecnología. Una ciudad vanguardista. La pasión de su gente se siente en el trabajo que hacen, en las ganas de reinventarse en México. Aquí te quieres quedar, te encuentras seguro, en manos de personas capaces, con gran calidad humana. No tenía idea que podía relajarme y descansar de tal manera. Tener tiempo para mí, donde me hacen sentir como en casa. Esta ciudad tiene miles de razones que me atrapan, que me hacen confiar. Existen ganas, compromiso, magia y modernidad, siempre con una gran sonrisa. Reynosa, Tamaulipas. Jamás lo hubiese imaginado.
Once again, you can be part of the solution or part of the problem, okay? And as a news, okay, you guys report whatever you want to report. I want to invite you guys, okay, to go and visit our plants. Go and visit, basically, the distribution centers here in McAllen. Go visit Keith. Go visit Ralph, okay? Because those are the stories of each one of us. How many of you guys have seen a guy, okay, say, okay, what he does, you know? He cannot be just irrelevant about the violence and everything. Believe me, 98,000 people, okay? More than 200,000 people do something miracles. We ship in the, you don't know the technology, high tech what we send out of this place, okay? It's miraculous what we send out of this place. And you say, we ship this part? Yeah, we ship this part, okay? You tell me the country, we ship to that country, okay? So I invite you guys to go and visit McAllen Development, okay? Visit our plants. Okay? And give us a call, and the plants are open for you guys. So you guys can see what we actually do, okay? And what you can report, okay? Good news, guys. Be part of the opportunity, be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, okay?